Welcome to the Forsyth County Schools mandated reporter training for child abuse and neglect. Child maltreatment is a devastating social problem that affects millions of children and families each year in the United States. In Georgia, more than 100,000 reports were made to Child Protective Services in 2004. Of those reports, 31,000 cases of abuse and neglect were confirmed. The effects of child abuse upon the social, cognitive, and emotional development of children can be far-reaching and in many cases irreparable. Children may suffer from serious physical injuries, neurological damage, and cognitive deficits. They may have problems with social relationships, behavior problems, aggression, and depression. Abused children are at an increased risk for substance abuse, poor school performance, juvenile delinquency, and adult crime. 83% of those who abuse children are the children's parents. More than 4 children die each day as a result of child abuse or neglect in the home. In Forsyth County in 2006, there were more than 1,100 reports made to Child Protective Services. 345 of those reports, almost 30%, were confirmed incidents of abuse and neglect. School staff comprise about 25% of the reports. We really are the first line of defense for so many children. We want our children to be happy, connected, safe and secure. We want our children to know that we will do whatever it takes to protect them. In Forsyth County, all school employees are considered mandated reporters. This includes teachers, paraprofessionals, school nurses, administrators, cafeteria staff, maintenance and custodial staff, secretarial staff, registrars, and bookkeepers, bus drivers and transportation employees, counselors, psychologists, and social workers. If you are watching this video, then you are a mandated reporter. Mandated reporters are required by law to report any suspected child abuse or neglect. Mandated reporters need only have reasonable suspicion, not direct evidence of possible abuse or neglect. Forsyth County Schools procedures require that staff immediately inform the school counselor or administrator when abuse is suspected. The administrator or counselor will then notify the Department of Family and Children's Services, or DFACS. If the suspected perpetrator is a school employee, then immediately contact the school administrator. The administrator will then notify DFACS and the Human Resources Department. Mandated reporters are protected by law if the report is made in good faith, whether or not abuse or neglect is confirmed. Mandated reporters have the right to anonymity and confidentiality. Mandated reporters have the right to knowledge of the outcome of the report. Often a parent will insist that they know the school made a report. If a parent insists that you are the reporter, state that the school doesn't confirm or deny possible reports to DFACS. If they have questions or concerns, encourage them to contact the DFACS office. Mandated reporters can be held liable if they don't report suspected abuse. Failure to report may result in the following: a misdemeanor conviction, a $1,000 fine, or 12 months imprisonment. Disciplinary charges and/or loss of employment may also occur. Most important, the child will likely continue to suffer and may even be killed. Following a report to DFACS, an investigator with Child Protective Services, CPS, will explore the situation. The CPS investigator will decide what level of protection may be needed, if any. The DFACS role is to protect children and to strengthen families so that they may remain united. DFACS often provides support and reunification services, such as in-home counseling and parent education, in an effort to preserve the family unit. Some referrals may come too late to help some children remain safely in their own home. They may be placed in foster care or with a relative. Early identification of abuse or neglect allows earlier intervention when a family's problems may be more readily resolved. There are a multitude of factors that may lead to child abuse and neglect, such as substance abuse, parental immaturity, unrealistic expectations, social isolation, unmet emotional needs, frequent crisis, poor childhood experiences, alcoholism, mental illness, and poor family boundaries. Lack of supervision is also a concern. Children 8 or younger may not be left alone. Children 9 to 12 years old, based on level of maturity, may be loaned for brief periods of 2 hours or less at a time. Children 13 or older who are of an adequate level of maturity may be left alone and may perform the role of babysitter with the consent of the parent for up to 12 hours. Neglect occurs when a parent or caretaker allows a child to experience avoidable suffering or fails to provide basic essentials for physical, social, and emotional development. Physical indicators of neglect may include poor growth patterns, underweight, failure to thrive, persistent hunger, poor hygiene, inappropriate dress for the weather, inconsistent lack of supervision, especially in dangerous activities or for long periods of time, unattended physical problems or medical needs, and abandonment. Behavioral indicators of neglect may include begging, stealing food, extended stays at school, such as early arrival and late departure, poor school attendance, constant fatigue, listlessness, or falling asleep in class, inappropriate seeking of affection, assumption of adult responsibilities and concerns, alcohol or drug abuse, delinquency, and the report that there is no caretaker. Physical abuse occurs when a child suffers a non-accidental injury that may include severe beatings, burns, fractures, bruises, welts, or other physical problems. Physical indicators of physical abuse may include unexplained bruises and welts on the face or body in various stages of healing. The marks may be formed in a cluster or a regular pattern, indicating repeated blows from a belt or electrical cord. The marks may regularly appear after an absence, following a weekend or a school vacation. Physical indicators may also include bald patches on the scalp, unexplained fractures or dislocations, unexplained burns, immersion burns, which are sock-like or glove-like burns on the hands and feet, or infected burns indicating a delay in medical treatment. Behavioral indicators of physical abuse may include the following symptoms. The child may feel deserving of punishment or be wary of adult contact. There may be behavioral extremes, such as aggressiveness or withdrawal. The child may be frightened of the parents or afraid to go home. There may be inappropriate or precocious maturity, or manipulative behavior to gain attention. The child may be capable of only superficial relationships, and may indiscriminately seek affection. The child likely has poor self-concept. Sexual abuse occurs when an adult or older child exploits a child for sexual gratification. Sexual abuse includes fondling, sodomy, child prostitution, incest, and encouraging or forcing a child to participate in pornographic activities. Physical indicators of sexual abuse may include difficulty in walking or sitting, torn, stained, or bloody underclothing, pain, swelling, or itching in the genital area, pain upon urination, excessive masturbation, bruises, bleeding, or laceration in the genitals, vaginal or penile discharge, venereal disease, and poor sphincter tone or control. Behavioral indicators of sexual abuse may include the following: withdrawal, infantile behavior, bizarre, sophisticated, or unusual sexual behavior or knowledge, sexual acting out on younger children, poor peer relationships, sleeping disorders or nightmares, eating disorders, aggressive acting out, delinquency or runaway behavior, reports sexual assaults by caretaker. The child may have a change in performance in school. The child may be unwilling to change for gym or participate in PE classes. The child may demonstrate self-abusive behaviors such as drug addiction, alcohol addiction, and self-mutilation. Emotional abuse occurs when a parent creates a negative emotional atmosphere for the child through verbal abuse or maltreatment, which results in impaired psychological growth. Physical indicators of emotional abuse may include speech disorders, lags in physical development, failure to thrive, or hyperactive or disruptive behavior. Behavioral indicators of emotional abuse may include the following: habit disorders such as sucking, biting, rocking, behavior extremes such as aggression or withdrawal, overly adaptive behaviors, suicide attempts, developmental lags, conduct or learning disorders. There may be neurotic traits such as sleep disorders or unusual fearfulness, psychoneurotic reactions such as hysteria, obsessions, compulsions, or phobias. Children often disclose abuse in hidden or disguised ways. It's important to really listen to what a child is saying. For instance, a child may say something indirectly, such as, "My brother wouldn't let me sleep last night." Or she might ask you a question. What would happen if a girl told her mother a secret but her mother didn't believe her? Sometimes children's disclosures have strings attached. "I have a problem, but if I tell you about it, you have to promise not to tell." Be sure to let the child know that you hear what they're saying and that part of your job is to make sure that they get help. When a child discloses abuse or neglect, be sure to find a private place to talk with the child, away from other children who may overhear. Reassure the child. Let them know that you believe them and that you're glad that they told you. Listen openly and calmly, and write down the facts in the child's exact words. Redirect the child back to the classwork if possible, or take the child to the counselor. And remember, always respect the child's confidentiality. After a child discloses abuse, immediately notify the school counselor or the administrator at the student's school. Do not contact the parent. Do not ask why questions. Do not investigate or ask leading questions. Extra questioning by teachers or staff may influence the child and can actually weaken or hinder the legal case and place the child at higher risk. Forsyth County has a number of resources available to children and their families affected by abuse or neglect. Those resources include the Department of Family and Children Services, the Forsyth County Child Advocacy Center, and the Family Relations Program. The Forsyth County Child Advocacy Center, or CAC, provides a comprehensive approach with follow-up services to ensure that children receive child-focused services in a child-friendly environment, where the child's needs come first. The CAC brings together representatives from numerous agencies to discuss and make decisions about investigation, treatment, and prosecution of child abuse cases. They also work together to prevent further victimization of children. The Family Relations mission is to break the cycle of child sexual abuse and prevent the victimization of children. Comprehensive treatment services include victim services for child victims of sexual abuse ages 5 to 17 and their families. Project Pathfinder, which are services for sexualized children and adolescents with sexual behavior problems. There are women's survivor services for adult women survivors of childhood sexual abuse, and prevention and education programs for youth and adults. Remember, you are the first line of defense for so many children. You have an extremely important role in protecting children and enhancing their lives. Please don't hesitate to make a report. Early intervention is key for the safety and well-being of our children. You can help strengthen our families and help lay a foundation for our future so that one day there will be smiles, friendship, laughter, and giggles, so that one day our children can be children.